Seamless.
Welcome.
Seamless.
Welcome back. Yes, it's been 1 month and 4 days, but we are back. Monday Night Live Chat. New camera, maybe not as clean, but it works. Good audio. So yes.
New haircut. Look at that. Looking dapper over there.
Yeah, I gotta shave a little bit. You know what's so funny was that at the huge convention, how many people came up to me and had no freaking clue who the heck I was. And I had like this happen and I don't say that in like a like you should know who I am. No, not at all. But what I realized is that all my videos, I have a beard, I have sunglasses on, I have a hat on, so just nobody knew. There's a guy I talked to, sold him 2 Mormon flick pads. He came back later to the booth and we started hunting. He's like, "Oh my gosh, you're SteveO." Yes, how are you? We talked earlier for like an hour. No knowledge of anything. So next year, I'm just going to grow this thing out massive, wear my sunglasses, wear my dirty hat at the booth so that everyone knows who I am and have a camera on my head. And hopefully, therefore, people will truly know who I am.
Yes, and you will get a ton of sales that week. I really think you should do that.
I won't. There'll be someone there just lingering about. But anyways, guys, welcome back. I know it's been a bit, and we should be getting into regular programming here now that it's slowing down going to fall. I mean, we have noticed quite a bit of a slowdown, I think, as of late, which is totally normal this time of year. Do not freak out. In a lot of the forums and stuff, we see people just kind of freaking out based upon that. It's a slow time of year. You got to prepare for it, and it will start getting busy, though. The fall blast is always kind of I never know kind of what date to say. October is always crazy busy, but it's like September, you never really know like when's it gonna take off as far as everyone being back to school, all that.
Yeah. By the way, what's up to Dexter? Life Hacks for Men says, interested to know if it's dead for anybody else. So he's already beat you to the punch there. Squeegee Puller, what's up? Hellman, what's going on? Jamie's here. J.A. Smith cleaning, Con, just a whole bunch of people. If you're here, say hello and do like Hellman did and say where you're from and come say hi. But yeah, you know what sucks about this year that's like so hard is that it's been like hard. Once spring finally kind of happened, everybody's been going like crazy busy for like weirdly long months. So now all of a sudden it's starting to slow down. People just notice, I think, more than ever.
Yeah, it was definitely a late spring, and then that really made no like summer lull in July, in which we saw, and I talked to a lot of people too that said July was their busiest month, and then now it's getting late August, early September, and for some it's dead, for some it's not.
Here's an interesting.
Go ahead.
I was going to say an interesting question to everybody here. By the way, comment. What's your busiest month of the year this year? And just say yes or no. Is that common or is it different than what it normally is? Because I bet you almost everybody's going to be like you said, July, and then say no, it's not the common. It's usually May that's the busiest.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've always seen, it was always May, June, and July was either a time where we could always like take some time off, and there would have been no possibility of that like this year at all. Fun topic though, as people kind of tell us about like whether or not they've been busy or not, is if you want to comment, what would you be doing if you weren't a window cleaner? Josh, what would you be doing if you weren't a window cleaner? Like honestly,
man, I'd probably still be an exotic dancer. Broke still. No, man, I don't know. I've been in the game for so long. I just like my brain doesn't even latch on to anything else. I have no idea what I would be doing. I really don't.
Yeah. I think, well, I know that I'd probably be somewhere in the realm of doing dumb stuff with like law enforcement or something, but my past history probably wouldn't have allowed that.
So. When I started window cleaning, I had applied for the police department like 5 times, but we kept having freezes. So every time we'd apply, get through a bunch of the agility and they would just cut it off. And then that happened 3 times. One time I got cut for a guy. I lost my position to a dude who drove a stolen car to the final interview. And that was who I lost that to. And then the last one, it was the same thing. Just like they delayed it again.
The stolen car?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Great.
Wow. Actually, similar thing happened to me when I moved to California for like about 10 months is they froze everything right when I was getting into it. And then that's when I started just like dabbling into other things, being a waiter, window cleaning, and then boom.
Could you imagine being a cop in like California right now?
No, no. Every time I even clean windows for a cop or I clean windows even for a firefighter, and then you get into a little conversation and they want to know your back history and you tell them that, they're like, aren't you happy that you never did that? And I'm like, yeah, I'm happy that I never did it. Like, I'm not saying that I wouldn't have been excited to be a cop. I think I would have been a type of person that I would have just like dealt with kind of the stuff's going on. But yeah.
Yeah, it's super. Yeah, it's a super different world depending on how long ago it's been. So
Does our feed look super fuzzy to anybody that's watching this?
I don't know. It
Just
looks
out of
like it in
curiosity.
the actual feed. I don't know what's going on there, but
Yeah, it looks in the actual feed like it's super fuzzy. Shoot though. Austin says he's going to get involved in watch sales. Oh, that should be fun. It should be really, really good.
that'd be good. I could be in watch. I just started getting into watches, like not high end watches yet, but I could do that. I'd be like good at cars, but I know that that's not like a thing. I think that would be interesting to me, but
Being a car salesman.
but it'd be like interesting cars, not like Ford Focuses. I'd do something that I feel like would be interesting, but
Huh.
I don't know.
Hallman said, yes, it is fuzzy. Man, these freaking things. What do you do about it, you know? It's funny though, because on our end, that doesn't look
Yeah,
weird
it
at
looks
all.
super
It's on
and it
YouTube.
says excellent condition or excellent connection.
Really. Sorry, guys. You just have to listen to us. Just put us on at the kitchen table with the rest of your family and just let everyone listen to our amazing voices. It'd be fine.
Hey, just so you know, that fuzziness is going to help us with our good looks anyway. They could
It's
use a
true.
little bit of a filter on.
Let's see here. Cole Schaefer with the first question of the night. Do
Nice.
you guys wash windows in the winter? He is from Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Yes. Yes. But I would have to say I've never been through a Minnesota winter. So if your Minnesota winters are what, -20, -30, yeah, I probably wouldn't be washing any windows in -20, -30 at all. The lowest I ever did, I think it was -3.
Yeah, in Wisconsin, our thing was you would go 50-50 with windshield washer fluid and water. And then that would be like just a better mix just because it's kind of gross when you're using it without. And then if it was really, really cold, we go 100% with a little bit of soap. And if that froze, we would just call it a day.
Man, sorry, I can't stop looking at our feed on YouTube.
Is it bad? Is it that bad?
So bad.
My mind's
It's
hidden. I
so bad.
can't see it.
Oh
All
well.
right. I'm for you, even though it says it's awesome, I'm going to change it right now. I'm going to change our feed. Hold on one second.
Okay. Try to make this better.
Hold on. Give it a second. We'll see if it's back. I switched over to another network. So we'll see. Just hide it. Everybody will be fine.
I know. I'm so weird about this kind of stuff. Oh, we'll see here.
You know what's great? I love talking to people who are like in the South though. And they're like, yeah, if it's below like 30, I'm not cleaning. And I'm like, oh, so great. Dude, when I moved, so I started like a window cleaning pressure washing company again when I moved here. I was still like consulting for the last company. But I remember it was like either Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve. I can't remember, but one of the days where I was like washing a house in like a hoodie. And I was like, this is like mind blowing to me from Wisconsin where we take like 6 months off.
Right, right. Yeah, I mean, I get the same thing though, of people always asking, what do you do during the winter, or what do you do for work during the winter? And it's always like, man, that's why you have to build a route. Like you have to do it. And like the sad thing I think that happens every year that I know that we get a lot of is that you get someone that starts a business beginning of spring and work just starts rolling in. They feel super excited about it. They're super happy, checks are flying in, and then all of a sudden they hit this time of year and it's like, dude, what the heck? What just happened? What do I do?
Yeah.
How do you keep getting customers in? And it's like, well, this is the time when you really start like either hitting up your old customers or you start marketing, you start advertising. You should be marketing, but this is really the time where like all that work pays off that you could have been doing the whole time while you were making good money. And so, yeah, I mean, I've gotten a lot of messages, and they always do around this time of year, but it is what it is.
Panic. It's the new guys too. They come in and then all of a sudden they're making money that they haven't made before. And they're out there buying like Harleys and everything else. And then all of a sudden, like the slow time comes and they just like their brain never told them, like, hey, this is not going to be how it is all the time. So I feel
Right.
bad, but I know we've all gone through it anyway. So
Yep. Chris Corley.
here's an interesting idea for Chris. Chris said the Bidenomics are definitely off the chain, LOL. But I have a question for you. Not to talk politics, but to get into this next election cycle, it's going to change. There's like it can't be Biden again. I mean, just with all the issues and his weird delirious. So it's going to be somebody else. Is it going to get better or is it going to get worse?
I hope that it gets better.
That was the most vanilla answer ever. I hope.
Dude, you know what I saw though? Like, not to what I was looking at the other day was when Trump's taxes, like what he did, goes away in 25. I think it is 2024 or 2025, where like certain tax brackets are going to go up by like 10%. That sucks.
Yeah,
that's going to be horrible.
I
have nothing more to say about that.
Yeah. Well, we're on the decline also. And I did hear that mortgage rates will come back, or the prime technically next year. I think they're going to start calming down on that. So that would be rad because that contingent, that like hooks on everything when, people start to being able to like kind of have that. I feel like there's less panic when you have a smaller payment on that kind of thing. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, like I was saying before we got on here, we're going through like the time of looking at homes, and it's super ridiculous to think of the interest rate that we have and the interest rate that now we're thinking like, oh, we might do that, but pay a good like $1,000 extra just in interest. Like,
yeah. Think about that though. That's everybody who's like switching houses. They're all in that same mindset. So that whole market side is all just stopped up. So now all we had in my office, I have like an office like in a big area that there's a bunch of different offices. Yeah. And I had 2 realtors, and one of them was a mortgage guy, and they all have left since like things started calming down. They're just like, this is dumb for me to have an office right now.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I feel like as we're kind of going through the whole process, and it's like, man, they jump on you like so fast with the information. Like all the practices we talk about burnout, they're like, oh, I work like every day, like Saturday, Sunday, nighttime. If it's 1 a.m. and you decide like that's the house you want, you just text me and we'll get this done. And I'm like, man, this is exactly like the worst kind of working that you could possibly do. But I get it in that everybody in there for so many years was doing so well, and then boom, now it like sucks.
Squirrels, man, you got to get it while you can. Like they go really, really crazy before they go sleep the whole winter,
Yeah. We have some good questions coming up here.
Yeah.
Let me look. How do you clean paint off tinted windows from the inside? Depends. If it's aftermarket tint and you see like the little line around the corners of it, it's not really a good way to get paint off of that, unfortunately.
You replace the tint pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much replace the tint or take it off. That's a good way of doing it. Yeah, I mean, but what I find that a lot of people do is they get confused by like factory tint with aftermarket tint. So if it's like a factory tint between the panes and you just see this like darker look or a shinier look outside or like whatever, most likely if it's that, then you're totally fine to use a razor. Of course, you want to do a test spot, but I mean, you should be fine using a razor at that point. So aftermarket, pretty much you're screwed. You're not screwed, customer is screwed. So yeah, that's what I would do. I've never really found any chemical for paint.
Not that makes any sense. Like I'm not waiting 30 minutes like cement off. Like I charge by the hour. Like you think I'm going to stand at one window and wait for 30 minutes? Like that doesn't. Right. Yeah. What do you do? I had somebody say they had overspray on solar panels.
I've heard that. I've seen it.
Really?
Yep.
I don't even know how the heck that's possible.
I had a home where they had like 20 panels on the roof and they had their home repainted and the guys never covered the solar panels. And when they sprayed the chimney, which was right there by them, the next time every time I went, and I just cleaned this house for the last time, like a couple weeks ago, because they moved. And I go up there, and ever since a year ago, there's just overspray all over them. And I told them, I was like, I don't really want to like I don't want to mess up anything. I don't think I'm gonna mess up anything, but like I just don't want to deal with it. And they didn't care because they didn't see it. And it wasn't enough to affect anything.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, 100%. I've seen that, and it's just people not taking the precaution of, masking them off, I guess.
I've seen paint on them, but like smaller. So I used razors to get them off, and everybody's like, "Oh, there's coatings," and I've never had problems, but I haven't done it enough to be like as confident as like tempered glass confidence,
Right.
So I'd love to know if anybody's out there listening and they've taken paint off solar panels. How'd you do it?
Is anybody listening? Anyone? No? There's some people here. It's just we look really bad online, so.
Man, you're still looking at that.
Yeah, man, it's because it is what it is, man. You know me, I get distracted by these kind of things.
What's so crazy is like, if the picture's blurry, you're like just upset, but yet you come into this, you don't even comb your hair or shave. But if it's blurry, you're like, ah.
Yeah, it's blurry. What the heck, man? It's just ridiculous. Hallman and window washing has a great question. We're gonna jump to real quickly.
There's a bunch of great questions today, actually.
Wait, quick, before I jump into that, I'm going to go through the line because I always do this really bad. Antonio Howell asked, when is a good time to hire an office assistant? I'm going to let you answer that.
Dude, as soon as you possibly can. Because I go through this with people all the time where they're like, in their head, they're like, okay, so I'm going to pay this person $50,000 a year. I guess I have $50,000 I can break off. And it's like, no. Like, starting after like 4 weeks, you're making more money now because you have them. You can do things that are making you more money. So people tend to forget that they're not really making production, but they are absolutely going to be making you money. So if you can, and it makes sense financially to do it, do it. But you have to take it, hire them, and then jump when you're out of the field or having that just out of that kind of day to day. You have to utilize that time and go do some awesome things like big bids, route sales. Like, you have to go and earn it. If you're able to hustle like that, then do it.
Nice. Good stuff. All right. Cool. Illusion sucks. Tips on getting clients without going door to door.
Everything, anything but door to door. Anything
Josh
but door to door.
Loves door to door. This is his favorite thing that's ever happened in the window cleaning. He makes videos about it all the time.
It has been
Tell them
6 months of heck. HE double hockey stick for 6 months. Because this whole door to door thing just started with those dumb TikTok people who lie on all their TikToks. Sorry, those are the views expressed in this rant are mine and mine alone, not those of SteveO, the window cleaner.
I talk to a lot of people that do door to door, and I don't mind it. The thing that I always stress to them is like, make sure that it's not a bad experience. Like, you don't need to be pushing the job on that day. It could be a good informational thing. I know.
I just have a question.
What's that?
Could a door to door ever not be a bad experience? Or have you, every time anybody's ever come up to your door unannounced to sell you something, has it started off bad?
I think someone could do it in the right way. I do think it could be done in a right way. I totally agree that typically, or 100% of the time, when people come to your door unannounced or late in the day, it's like you don't want to talk to them. But I think with the right style, as in more of like, I haven't thought this all the way through very well, but like presenting the business and just saying, like, I don't know, whatever. Yeah. You could do it in a good way.
I've just never
push you away.
I'm so big on like experience, like the experience. No one cares about the window cleaning. Like these dumb guys that are on pro now who are like, up your game. You guys have to focus more. I don't make any money on my first time clean. That's because you're doing it wrong. Like, do good work, but like the focus on the experience from start to finish, it should be absolutely amazing. And if it is amazing, they're going to want to redo it because you just made them so happy. They can't, like, starting it off by kicking them right in the shorts basically just doesn't make sense to me. So I know people do it, and I know that people are like, I get business from it. Of course you do. But like, those people are still getting like 30% return because the people are just like, oh yeah, okay. I don't know.
I knew a guy here locally who did it for 6 months, and he was able after 6 months to stop doing door to door and then just worked off of, referrals, and the good thing he did, he got all their information. He was in a very good area though, to have to say, like a very good money area that I would say is easy to get people to want to clean their windows. But he's able to stop it pretty quickly. But I don't know, man. It really depends.
It's a job versus like a business. Are you building a business or are you trying to do a job? Like if you're a high school kid and it's summer, you want to go door to door, do it because you're going to go back to school and not do some stuff for a while. Like that's cool. But if this is like supposedly a long-term thing, I just don't see how it plays into it. Yes. And like, I got to go back. KD said, clip flyers, like throwing gravel in a baggie with a business card and throwing it. Like that's the same thing. People like lose sight of, I can do this really cheap and really fast. I can cover a bunch of people, but it's like, but that's like the worst way to do it. Like,
right now, the one thing that I never liked was when I would come to a storefront in the morning that I was cleaning and someone just left their business card in the crack of the door where the lock goes. Yeah. I'd be like, what does this do?
When has that ever worked?
Yeah, it does. And you just wasted a card. Like you might as well, if you're trying to steal business that I have, come around and actually talk to the person and put something into it. Like try to steal it from me. If you put this card here, I've already just took your card and I just put it in my pocket and no one even knows about it.
So did the person who's opening up, because it's not the owner who's like opening up. They ask somebody to do that. They're like, I'm not waking up at 4. Yeah. And somebody else comes in there and then they're going to throw it away anyway because it's junk like some other Chinese takeout menu.
It's a college manager all disheveled in the morning, stayed up till 3 a.m. drinking, woke up, almost thought they're late to work. Their Starbucks spills on your business card. Your business card gets thrown in the trash can. Your business is lost.
There you go. Exactly. All that wasted time.
Yep. Let's see here. Next one. Let's see. We talked about illusion sucks tips. Tips. Never mind. Cole Schaefer. Any tips with dealing with hard water spots at the water fed pool? I've tried the Xero contact scrubber, but still having a hard time. I'm thinking maybe a pre-scale, but the tech pad instead. Maybe a chemical. It really depends. And most of the time, what I find is people with hard water spots is typically going to be on ground level windows, windows that are pretty easily reached. Or I guess you could say there could be hard water on a mid-rise commercial building, whatever. If you're doing it with water fed pole, it's not really going to work with water fed pole. The only thing you could really do with a contact scrubber is add on there like a hard water cream, like Diamond Magic, BioClean, Unger Rub Out. And
have you done that in a water fed pole though? Like, have you brought the whole pole down when it was running water, like turn the water off to do it? Or did you just use the pole as an extension pole?
No, I've done it with the brush running and I've literally put Diamond Magic on the pad holder, but that was one job. And like that's what I was saying at the beginning. I always get this question and I always think to myself, I can literally count on my one hand how many times I've had hard water that's so high that the water fed pole is the only thing I've used. All the time, it's typically first floor right in front of me or basement windows, right? Yeah. So like, and I wouldn't use water fed pole for that. So if that's more what it is, then you could definitely move to an acid wash with One Restore. Or you could really get into it and get like a whole restoration kit if you really want to. But really, what I would say is I really wouldn't even waste your time trying to clean hard water off with water fed pole because it's really not meant for that.
Yeah. Here's a great question. Is anybody in the group either just respond with one word so we can see it as a whole, but you either charge for hard water removal or do you do it for free? So I'd love to know if anybody's out there that does it for free, put the word free. If you charge, put the word charge. Because I tell people all the time, you have to charge for hard water. And some people, especially new people, think that this is just like part of it when you get into it.
Oh man, it's like the biggest thing of, and you probably have this happen a lot too, when someone comes to you exactly as I said, and they say, I'm spending too much time at a job. Well, what are the expectations that you're bringing to the customer of like, what are you doing? Yeah. And then they say, well, I don't have expectations. I just go there and I tell them I'm going to clean the windows. No. You have to be able to say, we are not cleaning off paint, silicone, construction debris, hard water. It's cleaning. Like, it's not restoration. And there is some YouTube channels even that sometimes have stuff that like show them like just going overboard. People say I go overboard with cleaning, but I think like walnut pad scraping is all fine in the encompassing of what we do as window cleaners, but like to be restoring every window to the perfect finish. And it is a thing with new guys and that they're like, I can't get the hard water off. Well, first of all, why are you cleaning that hard water? Exactly what you said, have you charged for it?
I've used vinegar and I've used the really high concentration vinegar. It's like, yeah, you're in a professional world. I use an acid, like a real like hardcore. But everybody on here, I think, has said, other than like a stipulation, everybody said that they charge. So yeah. And like you said, it's an expectations thing. When somebody's expectations aren't met, that's when they're pissed. It's not that like the job was done. They just assumed it would be better maybe or something. But you can't do crap work, but they're not looking at the glass like you are. When you're like going up to it doing this, and that's your job, like they're not seeing the things either. And I'll always bring it up and be like, hey, just so you guys know, everything turned out great, but those front windows, because of the landscaping, whatever, does have some hard water. So if you just can't stand it anymore, let me know. I can come in and do an acid wash. Pricing starts $25 a pane. So we could definitely get it off there for me, but just let me know if it starts to drive you crazy. Yeah. Now, not only do they know it's there and it's not you left the windows dirty, but they know that there's a solution and they know you're the person to do the solution. Now they're happy. They have nothing to be dissatisfied with by doing that.
Yep, exactly. The thing I always used to get was when I first started was they'd hire us for cleaning windows, but then a track would have some dirt in it. And I remember like 2 houses where the customer literally said to me, the reason I hired you was to clean the tracks. I remember like it wasn't in the time where I was confident enough to be like no, like all we're doing is glass. I would typically just say, hey, well, you can call the office and talk to them, but I know that I've done everything right. And I just like leave.
Yeah. I always say, so people always go, well, what do they say when you say this? But if you say it in a certain way, like when I go in and we do bids for the first time, whatever, how I say it is that when everything's said and done, and here's the price for the product. Okay, great. We'll have you in at Tuesday between 9 and 10 a.m. or whatever it is. Like, okay, great. Okay, now a couple of follow-up questions for you. Did you want us to clean the screens also? So it's $5 a screen. That's both sides plus the frame. We use a screen machine. Turn out awesome. How are those looking? No, I think we're good. Okay, great. And then the last question is, when we are done, of course, we get a little bit of water on your sills from squeegee, and we're going to wipe that off. But do you need the sills deep cleaned with a toothbrush and a vacuum? Are they super dirty? That ends up being $3, $5, whatever you're charging per sill. Did you need those? And they go, no. So when I go to the job, and if I get done and the screens are not clean, then they already knew me going into that I'm not cleaning the screens. But I didn't say it like, and just so you know, we're not cleaning the screens. I said, hey, do you want me to clean the screens? It's like going to the grocery store and you're like, oh, and you throw a pack of gum on there at the very end. Nobody feels like the cashier doesn't go, oh man, should I give it to them for free because they're buying all this other stuff? Or they're just like, oh, you add it on? Cool. Yeah, that's an extra whatever. You put it on there. Like right. That's how my brain works.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just reading a comment. Huh?
Thought it was fuzzy still, and you were still staring at yourself.
Oh, yeah, over that. It's fine. It's totally fine. Chris McDonald asked, because this is a new product that we had at the convention, the Big Scrub, the Xero Big Scrub, and Mike Nichols and Zane were there with us at the booth. It was awesome having them there. And Mike was showing off the new Xero Big Scrub that he designed, and what is it? So it is more of it's a pad holder. I wish I had mine. Pad holder with a maker 10-inch sleeve, so you can have the hedgehog, you can have the Scotsman, you can have the python, you can have the switch mop, and basically what it's made for is what they call like self-cleaning glass, right? So the microfiber does a tremendous job at sheeting the glass better than what like a brush would do. So Mike's been using this a lot for commercial cleans. It's not really a residential type of brush that you could really clean with unless it was like large plate glass, but it's made for like large plate glass, large commercial windows. I personally have not got to use it just due to I have not had a job where I could use it. So I don't have a lot to say about it, but based on if Austin Grubbs is still watching, he's used it a lot. So he's got a lot of good stuff to say about it. And it's definitely a tool for a certain application, but for what it is, it's great.
Yeah, it's like think of the Alpha Scrubber, sort of, but in a different version, a wider version that's also using pads instead of white pads. It can use walnut pads. It could use white pads and everything else, but it's really designed to use actual, they're called sleeves, but they're actual pads, right? So it is with the maker, anything 10-inch. But yeah, the really cool thing about that is you can instantly change from like a hedgehog, which is super aggressive, to a not even a Scotsman, python, if you really want to go all the way to the other end, right? So you can kind of go back and forth. And there's another thing that I was talking with Mike about that I didn't even really put together, but so a boar's hair brush is going to last you, what, 6 months-ish, right? A boar's hair brush, $150, ballpark. If a pad lasts you 3 months, then it costs you $11 or $20 or whatever. It's like you can replace that so much faster and more efficiently than a boar's hair brush. The only downside to any type of pad holder is it doesn't get frames, right? So if there's no bristles, you can't get the inside of the frames, you can't get the face of the frame very easily. So it's more for like maintenance cleans, it's more for like solar would be great on a curtain wall, glass, things like that, frameless. But it's really an awesome idea, and we're selling a ton of them, so it's pretty cool. What's also awesome is because it's a fast lock, which I didn't like the fast lock when it came out. I'm like, ugh, we don't like, why are we reinventing? And now I really love it because everything's going that way. So now literally you disconnect the hose, disconnect the thing, you can put a brush on, connect the hose, and you're right up to going. So it's really pretty cool.
What's super nice is not sitting there with your Euro thread and spinning the brush to be like, oh, I almost got it like straight on, and or redo it. So that's super nice, and it's easy to switch out like your different pad holders and everything. Zach Bunch asked, are they more aggressive than walnut? I would say it's just different than walnut. The microfiber definitely grabs the glass way different, just like we know when we're scrubbing windows. This was back maybe last Thanksgiving or the Thanksgiving before. I remember it right before it. I took the back walnut pad holder before any of this other stuff came out, and I put the Maker hedgehog on there and used that as the attachment opposite of the brush. Yeah. I have never had cleaner windows for residential than when I started using that. So there is something about that all that just, I don't know, man, it just works. Like my least favorite brush is a hybrid brush or a nylon brush. I always use boar hair, and that's why I also like, microfiber, is because I can really feel the contact of it. So I feel like it feels a little bit heavy because that water in the microfiber absorbs so much. So that's one thing. But like, even if you had something super dirty, you put a little bit of like soap in there or something like that, it's going to stay consistently in there. It could be really good for a lot of different stuff.
And one other thing that I haven't used it, like you said, I haven't used it like professionally for X amount of hours a day. But one of the things that's cool with the pad is that because it's not a bristle, where bristles you can get lines and marks and things as they kind of flay and open up, that pad is so uniform that you're getting just a better surface contact with the pad. So I don't know. Yeah. I think it's pretty darn cool, but I also really love Mike and Zane and all them. So maybe I'm partial, but.
Mike's been a big part of like the community for a super long time, if nobody knows. So it's nice to be able to kind of support him and everything that they're doing. Somebody asked here real quickly what they would use for an acid wash, so I just wanted to get them the one restore link.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in real quick too. And TTV, if you got a question, I'll give you a hint. Don't ask hey, can you tell me anything about window cleaning? Because no one will end up responding because they don't know what you're looking for. So if you got a question, please ask. But put it out there as a question like, hey, I want to know about fill in the blank. Direct question is we'll get you a real answer. What's up to Jeremy Pummel, by the way, is here. Pause. You're here. I just realized you said 2 clips for life, so I shouldn't have even called you out. But Marcus is here. Dude, you want to know something about the 1 clip, 2 clip? I don't even have a 1 clip shirt.
Where did it go?
I have a 1 clip shirt.
You had one before you went.
I know I had one before I went. And I brought it to the show to like wear.
Oh shoot! Well, you can put an order through me, and I'll throw one in for you.
It was good when we literally. By the way, I think this is the first show since the convention, right? We didn't do one since then.
Yeah, I haven't had one since. Yeah. Okay. So real quickly, yeah. Go ahead. We have some of these shirts left from the convention, and so if you guys put an order with either one of us, we only have large and extra large. We only have probably around like 30 of each a piece left, right around that number. So if you put an order with us, or if you're putting an order you want us throwing in, just let us know. It can't ship yet, or like if it's already shipped, we can't add it in. But just let us know. We want to get rid of them as far as just handing them out. They were super popular at the show, so it's just we had to order some more.
Yeah, what ended up happening was this year at the show was. Like, it wasn't like overwhelming. I mean, we were steady busy from beginning to end. So, you know what else we forgot to do now that I know none of the office staff is here, but we didn't take pictures like we were supposed to either. We were going to take so much social media for them guys and just never step foot out of the booth. It was just ridiculously solid.
It happened though from like we started at noon, and I mean literally 12:05, our booth was packed. The first day it never stopped until, and we left there at like 6:30 or something like that. Second day is always a little bit more calm, have little waves of craziness, but like it was a really, really good show. I know I talked a lot on here. I said like I'm not sure like maybe how the convention was going to be. I was very impressed, and know that this is nothing that now like we're a part of it, WCR, as far as we have a booth. It's nothing that Chris and Alex put on anymore. But like it was a really good show. There was a lot of vendors. It was an awesome thing to go to, and a lot of people that I talked to were loving the talks and everything. I mean, so it was impressive. So like I would say that if you're looking to go, next year is going to be in Nashville, again, as far as I know, and I would definitely go, especially just based on like what I saw this year. I thought it was really impressive because I kept thinking like, man, it's called a home show. Like maybe there wouldn't be as many window cleaners. I felt like this was like one of the most packed shows that I've been to as working it.
Yeah. The only downside is I heard SteveO wasn't there.
Yeah.
Nobody could find him.
Nobody knew. Nobody. It was crazy. I did want to get to this question because Hallman Window Washing asked, why did you guys stop the biz side, jump into sales and influencing? Hate that term. Is the money that much better or do you enjoy it more? Definitely less stressful. I would disagree with that last comment of definitely less stressful. It is way more stressful.
And we work way more than I ever did cleaning windows.
Yeah, this is basically you're maybe no one's ever said it this way. Maybe you'd agree with this. It's almost a hospitality job. And that hospitality, you work when nobody wants to work. And that's seriously what we have to do. Sometimes we have to shut it off just to be able to get a break. But honestly, for me, I would say it was something more that just naturally happened over time. I had no inclination that I was ever going to be doing this as far as sales go. I just really, truly loved like just creating like content and sharing stuff. And I loved getting new cameras. I loved editing. I loved editing ever since I was like a young kid. So like, even though I'm not that great at it, it was just something I enjoyed. And it was like a hobby and a passion that I did on the side. And then it just, I always call it luck, as far as just being able to like partner up with like you, Josh, Chris, Alex, like the whole entire WCR crew. There's tons of people behind the scenes that you guys never get to see that really make a lot of this work really, really well. But also like, and then how social media, even outside of window cleaning and so many things, like we see all these influencers, the Paul brothers, like all these people that this has turned into an actual like crazy career that you can make out of with social media. But it's awesome. And that like we get to share knowledge with people. We get to talk to people all the time. But it is way harder mentally than what window cleaning was for me. Way more mental work, but I've also learned way more since I've been doing this than I ever really learned in any job beforehand. So I'm super happy that I've done it, but it's a lot. I'll leave my stuff.
And I will say, I'm not an influencer because if I relied on my 340 subs that I have on my YouTube channel, Jersey_Nation. No, it has been so hard to get like I'm stuck. Same thing with TikTok. Like I'm literally stuck. Like I'm not an influencer. I could not make money doing that side of it. But I got to help people, which is pretty cool. Like that's literally why I started doing what I just started doing anyway. So but again, anytime, especially when we talk to sales, people who want to do sales, they somehow think it's like it is. I'm not complaining, but sometimes people are like, "Oh, I want to do sales," and then they start doing it. They're like, "Yeah, I don't think that's for me." It just ends up being a lot. So it's a great question, though.
Right. Real quickly, because it just popped up here, Cole Schaefer, what's a good place to customize a Jersey work shirt?
I want to ask one quick question to everybody in the group just to get the comments going. Tell me how many people you think, not salespeople, because there's 6 of us. Other than salespeople, how many people work in the office, in our warehouse? Just tell us the number. I want to know how many people you think work at the warehouse with a number. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, that's okay. I was just going to get this guy. I get all of my Jersey type of shirts at FinPrint. FinPrint is where I got. So FinPrint's out of Canada. Anybody that I've ever sent to them absolutely love it. And they always do have a good long wait, though. It took me just for 5 shirts and 2 hoodies, like 3.5 months, but I was super happy with it.
Yeah, well, they last a while, and you don't have to worry about really trashing them. So
Dude, all of my shirts that I first ever got from this other company that was just like cotton shirts, they wore out in 3 months. And then these, whatever type they use, I've had those for now like a year and a half, and they do not look the least bit faded, not at all. But I also am working very mildly, so I won't say that it's truly.
You're taking it easy on them.
Yeah, taking it very, very easy.
Yeah, keep answering, by the way. If you think you know how many people work in the office, it's great to see all the comments coming in, by the way.
Man, people are...
Same thing. Do you see there's a little heart now? People can like heart.
Yeah, there's hearts, there's laughy faces, there's everything.
Great.
I don't know if I turned on something. Someone's saying 100 a million times. Is that money coming to us? Or no?
I don't think so, but I think it's at least it like helps YouTube think that it's legit.
Oh. What is this? Hey, I'm 17 years old and today went out for an estimate and sold the job for 170. Then 10 minutes later, they're waiting until the spring, but tomorrow going door to door. It was very unfortunate. Yep.
Yeah.
That's very common. Even this time of year. I already scheduled a job for spring.
That's nuts.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah.
I mean, well, not great that they would not do it in fall, but I'll tell you something. The biggest tip you could ever take as a window cleaner has nothing to do with window cleaning. It is read sales books. Like listen to sales stuff, so like podcasts and books and everything else, because what everybody thinks is either the market or they think is like, you know, oh, it's this or it's that or it's this doesn't work. It usually can come down to sales. I'm not saying that that may not be your strong suit. It may be, but I'm telling you, there may be a way that you can kind of hear in between that and help that. So might be something to help you. By the way, I'm going to go back to the numbers. Nobody got it right. We are now at officially 40 people work just in the warehouse here. We just hit 40 people. So 40 people work at the warehouse, and you guys know of like 5 of them.
Hey, real quickly. I don't know if anyone's here from Squeegee Life. The Squeegee Life pole is a 9-section pole, right?
Squeegee Life pole is 9. Well, so Micro would be 9. Destroyer 40 is 9. Delight would be 9.
No.
I don't know. I gotta find out now.
Squeegee Life pole is a 8-section pole. Sorry, somebody asked this, and I'm okay. So this was to real quickly. Chris Thomas. You got a Squeegee Life high mod 30-foot pole looking at another 10-foot section. Do I use the Destroyer on it? Yes, but you need a number 9 adapter. I'm just going to put this here so that you have it.
Do that. By the way, Jeremy asked, is 3 extensions on a 30-foot Micro pretty sturdy for a 50-foot pole? 3 extensions would be a 60-foot pole on the Destroyer, and yes, that could do it. 60-foot on the Destroyer, if you're using the Destroyer Plus sections, yes. That could definitely work.
Yes. At Chris Thomas, need number 9.
Hellman also said, I'm 25% booked for next season already. Answer me this. Are you doing dentist clothes? Is that why you're booked so far ahead? Because that's phenomenal, by the way. Congrats on that.
I heard somebody say that you came up with the dentist clothes. Is this true?
It is, yes. It's yeah.
Oh man. Hey, someone said, when are you going to write a book? I mean that very nicely. Are you going to write a book?
Are you writing
write a book?
They're asking you?
No, you.
Oh, I've been writing a book for a couple times. I've started and then deleted it. So my ADD doesn't allow that to happen. So.
I would see, I could never, ever sit down and write a book about any of this stuff. Really I can't write an article for AWC. I just can't do it. Like it's just we talk about it so much.
I know. Well, I thought, it'd be really cool is like put everything down, just like everything. And I've never ever like indexed that where if somebody asked me a question, be like, read this. But I just would think it's interesting to see like, here's a book of everything that my brain is telling me, but yet it does not come out that way. It's like a bunch of titles and then a couple words, and you have to make it like a book. You can't just be like, here's a book of bullet points where you like, I can babble really well. Legitimately putting it as a book just sucks. But that's what ghostwriters are for, so maybe.
Hallman, I'm gonna have to block Hallman from this. I don't know, about something about one clip. Oh
He's such a smart guy. It's so good to see that there's one clip people out there. You know how normally us one clippers, we're just so humble. We're like, you know what? We're not gonna make fun of those ones with special needs, those 2 clippers. We just stay quiet, So it's great to see that they got pride.
I did want to say something real quickly because we're not selling these, but I think everyone will jump on this because they sell these with 2 clips. Ettore's custom blue and black squeegees. They are on Ettore's site right now. There's only 500 of them available. I
I'm a
bought
little pissed though.
Why? What
I'm a
happened?
little pissed that we don't have them.
I know, but it's Ettore specific. I went out and bought 2. I bought an 18-inch black, 18-inch blue. So what I'm saying is if you want some, well, there's only 500. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe they'll come to us. I don't know. Maybe I'm
There was
throwing
5. They should have done 500 for them to sell and 500 for us to sell. We would have sold them first.
Oh yeah, we would have totally been out first. We would have been out super, super fast. But we look pretty sick. I think the reason they did that though is because of a guy named Nick had some painted squeegees for a bit. Like he had a custom guy in Texas do them. And I think Ettore saw that, and then they said, "Oh, we're gonna jump on the bandwagon and do this." I love you guys. Love you, Ettore.
There you go. Well, as he's kissing butt, Zane just asked, speaking of WCR staff, are there former window cleaners that work in the office warehouse, or is that mostly a sales rep thing? And that answer in my head right now, Chris and Alex are the only ones in there right now in the office that have owned a window cleaning company. But we've had probably 4 or 5 people leave WCR to start a window cleaning company, which I think is pretty interesting. You know, it's like totally like it's a planned thing. Like, hey, you know, January 1, I'm out, and that kind of happens. So, yeah. On the window cleaning, like the sales side is a lot better. We have almost everybody in the sales is either owned or currently owns, or there's Johnny B who he worked in warehousing and purchasing here for like 6 years. So he knows a lot about like the logistical, like statistics side of supplies, even if he never owned a company, but
been around the products forever.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Let's have more questions come up. Let's see here. Is Angie Leads any good for getting leads to jobs for new window cleaners? I never use Angie Leads. Now, Angie Leads used to be
Service or Home Advisor was then, or Service Magic was then Home Advisor, and then that was bought by Angie, and now Angie's like Angie Leads.
Okay.
And unpopular opinion is I love Angie's. Well, let me rephrase that. I didn't like Angie's List, but I loved Home Advisor. Yeah, Home Advisor is awesome to like get stuff in. But again, problem wise, it's you gotta like upsell, you know, you have to offer them everything, and you have to like work really hard to create that experience to get them to repeat. The problem is when you give somebody something for like half price and you're like, hey, do you want to have the service again? It's going to cost you double next time. They basically don't like that. So it's great to get stuff in, but it's very hard to fit it into our kind of workflow and what we do.
Nice. Let's see here. We already answered this question with Illusion. I've seen him talking to KD quite a bit about 17 years old with water-fed pole equipment. I can typically work from 1 p.m. till dark. How can I quit door-to-door and start getting customers? Have they been kind of going over that?
Yeah.
Kind of looks like.
Kind of. You guys are amazing. By the way, if you see the little heart button icon thing, do hearts, do 100%, do all that stuff. That's a new feature here. So if you guys haven't also subscribed to SteveO's channel, this is literally where you are right now. If you're still not subscribed, please just click subscribe. It costs nothing, and SteveO would very much appreciate it. We're trying to get Steve a haircut.
At 40,000 subscribers, I'm giving away 1 SteveO Techno Pad kit. $30.
With the walnut pads?
I'll even add in 1 extra walnut pad.
What is going on?
Yeah,
baller.
Well, hopefully it happens around Christmas because I'm about to make someone's year. It's gonna happen.
Hey, with that house in Belize coming, I mean, anything's possible.
Hey, fun thing I am doing though, that if you guys in this, there's no purchase necessary. It's just a fun giveaway. I am giving away one of these cameras. If you guys saw the video about it, so it's just fun. I got one of these cameras. And so I'm not giving this one away. I'm giving you guys a brand new one.
I kind of thought you were going to pull that one camera that when we were trying to set up and you were getting real pissed at that camera. And you're like, hey, guess what? I'm giving this one away. It was the one that you just didn't want to. I'm not dealing with this anymore.
You can take it out, have a little small camera. So just fun. But there's a whole video about it you guys can check out. But I thought I'd just mention it. There's a lot of people writing comments and everything. I usually do this like through Gleam, but decide not to. Perfect. Zach just bought some 14 and 18 in blue. I didn't even see the 14 available. Dang it. Let's see here. And then,
Do you charge more for hard water spots? We already
yes,
talked about hard water, but yes, every person here that had said that always charges to do hard water removal. Always charge more for that.
Illusion Sucks just said, what are your opinions on a DIY RODI system? I built one for about $500 and mounted it on a hand truck. On a hand truck or in a truck? I am not a fan because I have to walk people through a lot of these DIY systems. And I see almost every time something gets messed up. And I think where a lot of people don't compute is the ratio of wastewater versus pure water with the ROs. And I think a lot of people mess up that.
Plus, if you follow membranes in the first one, which we've seen, I mean, literally a couple times a month, somebody does that. Somebody screws it up somehow. It's like $350 on the cheap end to be like, oops.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. You know, if you have the knowledge put together, great. I just feel like you could buy one, save your time, you know, and go out and clean that day and make money rather than putting one together. But I totally get it. And that some people, they just love putting stuff together. And I totally 100% get that. I'm just more the type of, I would rather just purchase it and be done with it. And that's it.
My idea, again, back to experience, is some people I've seen have these home, which, by the way, I've had a company, window cleaning company, 16 years. I never built a system ever. I always bought them because I'm not going to spend 30 hours trying to do it. I make more than that cleaning windows, right? But the other thing is that if you do it right, awesome. But I've seen so many of them that people, like, you show up and you're like, this thing is made of wood, like literally made of wood. Like, if you show up to somebody's house and you're like, hey, I want to go ahead and clean your windows and I'm going to charge you $1,000. And you show up with this like raggedy old thing that looks like you made it. Like, I feel like the experience just isn't there. So if you ever notice 2 and 0 stuff, it's all shiny, see-through stickers, like QR codes, like every piece looks absolutely professional, like top tier professional. I think that that's part to do with it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, totally. Yeah, I'm just not a fan of it because I've just seen so many people either buy DIY kits and just the problems that go into it and just waste hours and hours and hours. And so that's why I'm just not.
You know, it's also really hard on our end that I don't think we talk about that much. But if you make a DIY and then you're like, hey, this thing's not working, I need help. There's like literally no way that I could tell, how did you put the DI, or like, is that even the right RO for the housing? Oh yeah, it is. Well, I can't prove that. So then we're trying to troubleshoot a thing we just literally don't know. And it's like completely impossible for us to help with that. So
Yeah,
it kind of sucks.
Yep, exactly. But to each their own as far as that goes.
Yeah.
Let's see here. What other good questions? What's a good product for acid wash? Sent one restore link. We talked about the high mod pole. Oh, here we go. Weatherman Rain. Would it be a good idea to buy a water-fed brush, not including the pole, for cleaning window screens? Do y'all have a good video that shows how to clean screens well with only a mop and water? Not a water brush. Yeah, I mean,
I would rather, again, have like a screen cleaner. I mean, it costs more, but it's fixed. It's going to be a lot easier than trying to like hold a water-fed brush to do it.
yeah, exactly. Like, if anything, just use the microfiber sleeve with the mop, you know, with your bucket of water and do that way, or just get a screen cleaner with the brushes inside of it and just do it that way if you're looking to brush. That's just a way better way to do that. Like, not trying to upsell you at all. That's just going to be a better way to clean screens rather than buying a water-fed brush. It's just, yeah, it's not going to work. We do have like boar hair blocks on just wood if you really want to do that. So there is stuff like that we have.
By the way, have you ever used the IPC screen cleaner before?
I have not. No.
I have, and it is very unfun to use. The difference between the two is really kind of mind-blowing. So I get, because that was one that came out before Aztec started theirs, and I know that's got to be in people's heads. But the new version screen cleaners of like the Aztec or the Xero screen cleaner, same thing, is really, really night and day. So if you haven't used a screen cleaner yet, you got to check them out. It's one of those things that sounds ridiculous until you start using it. You're like, oh, I see why people use it. So really, really, really makes it easy.
Yeah. Illusion asks, how do you figure out how much wastewater to let out? It's about a 1-to-1 ratio. So that's the thing, though, is that's exactly why.
Which membranes? Because each membrane
hole.
produces a different PSI levels or different GPM at PSI.
Yep.
Do you have a check valve? Do you have a wastewater restrictor? If you do or you don't, then how are you turning it back? And if it's an adjustable check valve, have you calibrated it? And what are you calibrating it to? And what is the hose diameter or the angle of your fittings? Because a 90 degree has more restriction than a 45 or 245s to make a 90. Like,
yeah,
OD versus ID when it comes to hosing has a difference. Fittings, like if you're using barbs restrict flow more than a push fitting would restrict, right? Because there push fittings on the outside, and there's a lot of things. So kind of stinks. People don't even know either, but like the temperature of your water will be more or less efficient through an RO because an RO works better with hotter water.
Right. Big question we get always time is it okay to run hot water through it? It's fine. It's going to be okay. You don't want to run scalding hot water, but it's okay. Yeah. You know what's always funny is my systems will always around July, August, which is kind of strange, but kind of speaks to it. My systems will put out almost like my Max Plus the other day put out about 1.7 gallons per minute just off average water pressure. But for some reason, July, August, after it's been like warm for so many months, I have the highest output of my system. But if I was to do the same test, middle of December, I'll get 1 gallon.
Yeah.
So it speaks to like every summer, my system just works like just amazing. Like just pouring out too much water. And then by middle of winter,
that's why if you ever want to get a little bit more out of your system, you get a black rubber hose and you lay it in the grass as you're going so that the sun heats that hose up and your water's always heating a little bit. So
look at these little tips, huh?
Little tidbits.
Little tidbits. Well, we are at the end of the show. Thank you all for coming. I know it's been a while, so I really appreciate you guys all jumping in. And do you have anything to share there, Mr. Jersey?
Yeah, I do actually. If you haven't yet, you are literally on SteveO's YouTube channel right now. You found it somehow. It's fate. Go ahead and subscribe. He's hitting 40,000 subscribers, which is absolutely phenomenal. So go and do that right now. If you guys are still in the chat, make sure you're commenting. Make sure you're hearting everything. It really does help. I mean, it is, a thing that he's worked very hard for a very long time on. So make sure that you help with that. And if you haven't yet gotten your subscription to the American Window Cleaner magazine, go and get it. It's awcmag.com. Really, it's a real paper magazine that comes to your door every single month with stickers. So go and do that.
Yes. If you all need some equipment, you can contact both of us. We are sales rep window cleaning resource, and fall is just around the corner. We're 10 days away from fall or something like that. It's insane. It's gonna be great. It's awesome.
I don't even want to hear that.
I love the cold. So
I hate
great.
the fall.
Yes, so awesome.
I hate the fall because I just know winter's coming. Like I still have seasonal PTSD. I hate winter so much, and I moved to a place where there's barely any winters, but I still dislike it.
Man, playing in the snow angels. Oh, it's just so great.
Snow's fun to play in, but not to live in. Like, I can see how you enjoy it because it like snow, but then it'll be like 60 in like the next day.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great.
Snow in the morning, and then by 3 o'clock be 70s and sunny. It's great. Anyone in Colorado here knows what I'm talking about. It's 66 degrees right here today, right now. It was like 55 this morning. So we're already like, we just jump. Like we'll go from summer and then in a day, boom, just right down to fall. And that's pretty much what just happened.
Dude, so my parents live up Wisconsin still. Anyway, 38 degrees what they woke up to the other morning already.
Dang.
Yeah, he was going golfing.
Wow. Oh, why not? That's
anyway,
good.
whatever. They get it.
Alrighty, y'all. Well, thanks for coming, and we'll see y'all in 2 weeks-ish. Peace.
Adios.